Hey Sainers, welcome to Saints TV. Welcome to Saints TV Weekly for July 18th, Monday morning. A bit of a different one this week. No desk, if you've noticed. No desk for Jakey today. In the middle of a bit of a move, so furniture and whatnot's a bit of all over the place, but still got to get the content out to you guys. Still got to talk through a lot of big news for the St Kilda Football Club. And we'll kick it off straight off the bat. Friday night football against the Dogs. Absolute shit show. It was only a 28-point loss in the end, but it felt like a 100-point loss for a lot of that game. Sat with Joycey, and yeah, he's not going to be happy on the potty tonight, so that's going to be interesting, and Marshy as well. But to the game, we were just shocking. We didn't have any sort of game plan. We were just trying to chip it around, play really slow. We didn't have any sort of dare about us. And the sad part is I thought the Dogs actually didn't play their best game of the year. They weren't that good. Bont was ridiculous, but no Norton. Bruce didn't really kick a goal, I don't think. It just seemed like they were just very comfortable, and they were just doing what they needed to do. You know, doing what a regular sort of decent AFL team is expected to do, and we couldn't deliver that. So we are now 9 and 8. We are out of. We're now 10th. We're still out of the 8, obviously. Our percentage is 101. It's gone down even more, and there's a lot of question marks on a lot of players this week, and some question marks also on Brett Ratton and what he can do to lift this team. Because as stupid as it sounds, we are still a chance of finals thanks to Richmond losing, Carlton losing, Sydney Sydney won, but Freo lost. So there's a bunch of teams above us that lost. And yeah, that leaves the door ajar for us a little bit. But shit performance. It's going to be a very, very long week because we play on Sunday, 4:40 against West Coast, and that's not, you know, a lock for a win like it used to be. They've got players back and they're playing okay, so it's going to be a tough one. But that, yeah, was not a good Friday night game of football. That was absolutely shocking. Now to Sandy. The positive for Sandy was they returned to the winners list, which was great. That's the first positive. And the second is that Dan Hanbury made a really good return to VFL football. I think he played 3 quarters. We won by 28 points. And Hannah's, I think, had over 30 disposals and was, yeah, pretty comfortable with his performance in the end. Bytel had 25, 5 marks, 6 clearances. Even Tom Campbell, 26 disposals, 45 hitouts, and 14 clearances, if you don't mind. But the key news was obviously Dan Hanbury, who made a really good return with 29 disposals and 5 clearances in just over 3 quarters of football. So that's a great return, and I'm really tipping that he's going to come straight back in this week and play against West Coast. I don't think it's a time to mess around. If he's playing VFL football and he's doing a good job of it, like he did on the weekend, he's definitely a chance to play. And with players like Zach Jones being called out by Ratton in the press conference after the game about their lack of, finding the ball as a midfielder, I think Dan Hanbury's, that's one part of his game we can't question. He can always find the ball, whether he's super fit or he's kind of just plodding along. He knows how to find the footy. And I think the VFL game will give him a lot of confidence. And Jack Bytel as well. Both of them, I think they should definitely come in at the expense of someone like Jones and maybe a Ryan Burns, who struggled again on AFL stage. So it'll be interesting to see what we do on Thursday night to get the team sorted to hopefully get a win against West Coast. But that's, yeah, great news to see Dan Hanbury back out there. Despite what people think of him and his contract and all that shit, it's always good to see a Sainer come back and play well at VFL level and give themselves a chance to play in the AFL again. The other big news for the week, a bit of sad news, but kind of expected, I suppose, at some point this year, was that Jarryn Geary, club captain of, I think, 3 or 4 years, 207 games for the Red, White and Black, very underrated player. I think 16 seasons to be exact in the Red, White and Black. Called time on his AFL career. He was in the 2006 rookie draft, and then he goes on to be captain, play 207 games. He did play in a few games in 09 and 10 in those really good teams, and he was obviously captain for 5 seasons. So it's really sad just watching that video of him and him talking about the fact that, you know, he really wanted to get his body right. And he really wanted to come back and run out with his mates again. But the one thing that he hopes people take away from his career is that he always gave his all. He always put his body on the line, and he always did what he thought was best for his teammates and for his footy club. And that is 100% how I see him as a player. it's kind of ironic that, you know, the thing that we all pride him on is putting himself out there, putting his body on the line for his teammates. That's what cost him in the end. He just got a couple of really bad injuries late in the season, a couple of really unlucky ones in pre-season, and that set him back and really kind of cut his career short. I think he's 34 now. It would have been nice to give him a bit of a farewell game this year, but it looks like he's just going to have to do some sort of, hopefully a lap of honour we can do towards the end of the year. I think we play Sydney in round 23 at Marvel, so it'd be good to do something for him then. But yeah, just wanted to mention that in the video and congratulate him on a really great career. I think for a player that was in the rookie draft, no one really thought much of him, to still be a captain of the footy club, to still lead from the front in a really, really impressive way, verbally and also physically via his actions. He's been a great servant to the footy club, and I hope we keep him around the club in some capacity, especially in the last 6-7 weeks, because I think the boys need a voice like his, a leader like him. And yeah, just congratulations on a great career, Geary. All the best for the future, mate. And yeah, thank you for representing the red, white and black in the way that we all, as fans, want players to do. Now for some AFLW news, and this is really good news as well. As we all heard during the week, the AFL's vaccination mandate was lifted, which means that players like Liam Jones can come back into the AFL, but also that Georgia Patrikios, our superstar, is welcomed back into the AFLW world and into the St Kilda AFLW world. And it was good to see a video during the week of her surprising her teammates while Nikki Dell was giving a bit of a briefing at RSCA Park, and them all welcoming her with open arms. And good to have her back for the new season. It's going to start on Saturday, 27th of August against Sydney. So we're going to get her back, and hopefully a number of other players can come back from injury, and new players can stand up, and that can really give us a lift because we really missed her class during the year this year. But to have her back is a huge bonus because she is an absolute gun, not only of our team but also of the competition. So welcome back, Georgia. Hopefully you have a huge year, and we can all watch you and the rest of the girls grow and hopefully make finals this year. Now we've sped through all that. Question time, and we know these questions aren't going to be the most positive. We know that, it's a fact. So let's get straight into them. This one's from Matt King. What do you boys think we should be focusing on to finish off the season? I think we should be focusing on playing exciting football. Whether we lose or not, fans can take that. We're used to that. But it's the way we lose. I can't stand repeating myself this often during a damn year. We lose in the most boring way possible. I'm happy to lose a shootout. Play exciting, Saners. Go through the guts. Play on, take the game on. That's what we're doing in the first 10 weeks. It's gone to shit. We're not doing that anymore. We're so reluctant to move the ball. Matthew Lloyd pointed out a lot on the footy show on Sunday, you know, a part where Jimmy Webster marks the ball. His defender, his opponent goes behind him, mistimes it. Jimmy would naturally just run onto it because he's got space in front of him. He just stood still and didn't move and waited for the player to get on the mark, and then he tried to switch the ball and it didn't work. So for me, I don't care if we win or lose. It's not about the win or loss now. It's about playing fun, exciting football that it gets us out of our seats. I didn't move from my seat once on Friday night. Did not cheer. I did cheer, but like, you know, not, oh my God, here we go. Didn't get out of my seat and feel the momentum change. I just thought, great, we kicked a goal. Good one. Oh, dog kicked 2 more. Okay. Oh, we kicked another one. You know, it's kind of just like clapping the effort, but not clapping what it could be. And I want us to clap that and get on a bit of a roll. Next one is from Mary. What is the matter with Daniel McKenzie? So he was out for a couple of weeks, I believe, with concussion from the Brisbane game, as we all know, that big mark and then fall onto his back and hit his head. But then he also suffered a calf injury at training, and that was suspected 2-week injury, but it's dragged on a little bit. So I think it was a bit more serious than the docs would have liked. So he's been out and he didn't play for Sandy on the weekend. Same with Mitch Owens. So I think they're both probably another week or 2 away, which is a bit unfortunate because they're both, to me, pretty exciting players, and especially Dan McKenzie. Having him on a wing really does set the tone for us as a team, and our best form is when he's in the team. So we miss him dearly, but we can't rush any injuries like this. So hopefully he can recover in the next week or 2 and come back fully fit. This is from Digger. Can we make finals with all the losses from Tigers, Port and Suns? Absolutely we can, but whether we deserve to, I really don't believe so. Whether we want to, I really don't know. So we can. Obviously we can. We're only a percentage out of the 8, but it's whether we really have that desire to, and that's what I want to see from the boys in the next couple of weeks. If we miss out but we show desire, I don't care. But if we just limp to the finish line and the season's done and we finish 10th or 11th, that's a big F for me in this season for Ratton, and we don't want to see that. We want to see some growth in the next 6 weeks. Whether we make finals or not, that's a bonus, but we just want to see a change on the footy field during the 4 quarters every week. Jimmy's asking, what's more of a sin, the lack of effort or the lack of non-existent change of tactics? I think it's a bit of both. I think the lack of effort is kind of a byproduct of, not the changing of the tactics. But I also think sometimes, we're just prone to this. As a club, for some reason, we're just prone to the lack of effort. We just think things are going to happen. And it surprises me because Ratton's not a guy that takes effort for granted. I feel like he drums it into the team quite a lot. So the fact that they don't listen or it's not getting through to them is a bit of a worry, especially after we just signed him for 2 years. So I agree again with Matthew Lloyd. It's either the players aren't listening or Ratton's not getting through to them with what he's saying. So hopefully Rats can find a different way of getting the message across, or the players can just talk to each other, sort their shit out, and actually start listening to the coaches because they know what they're talking about and executing on game day. So I think it's a bit of both, but yeah, they're both big sins, but for me it's lack of effort's the biggest one because that's easy to fix, but it's up to us to fix it. It's up to the players to put in that effort. The coaches can't force them to do that. They're not on the field. It's up to the players once they run out to give that effort. Marlon, he's asking, what's the best outcome we can hope for 2022? Obviously play finals is the best outcome, but if we don't make finals, let's win. I don't know how many games we've got left. We've got round 19, 20, 21, 22. We've got 5 games left. Let's win 4 of the last 5 and see if that gives us a shout. If we don't, so be it, and we can live with that because we've finished the year in form, but we don't want to limp to the finish line. I've said that in the last question. I just want us to fight, just to show that we care, and if we make it, we make it. If we don't, we don't. But I think all fans can just live with the fact that the boys would have tried and just didn't quite get there. And if we don't do that and we just lose every week and the season's done, I think that's obviously the worst outcome. So hopefully that answers your question, Marlon. And there you go. That's Saints TV Weekly for another week. Those are the questions. Thanks very much, everyone, for watching. If you're watching this and you enjoyed it, please hit the subscribe button, like the video, and comment your thoughts about the footy club, about any other news of the week that wasn't mentioned or was mentioned. We can talk about it in the comments. The podcast will be out tonight. Me, Marshy, Joycey, back in the studio, Saints TV podcast. Stay tuned for that. Obviously, the match review and player ratings are already out on the YouTube channel. And if you're watching this and you're on Instagram and you're not following the channel, at Saints TV Pod on Instagram, Saints TV on Facebook. We're also Saints TV TikTok on there as well if you want to just jump on all the socials and follow on there. So enjoy the rest of your week, Sainers. I'll be back during the week, obviously, for the podcast and the big preview for the West Coast game. And just before I finish the video, in terms of the West Coast game, Sunday, 4:40 p.m. is the game. And as you all know, for away games, we do the Saints TV Disco at the Bentley Social. That kicks off at 3 p.m. on Sunday. The Bentley Social, beautiful food, 10% off food and drinks. It's going to be all Sainers, projector screens, good vibes hopefully. So if you are a Victorian and you're watching it from home and you want to get out and enjoy a good vibe around some Sainers, and myself, I'll be there, Marshy will hopefully be there, and Joycey, head on down to the Bentley Social on Sunday from 3 p.m. onwards. So until then, Sainers, take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your week. As always, go you mighty Sainers. See you guys.